Recording in progress.
Record. Welcome everybody. Today I am doing a little bit different workshop in a sense that it will be more practical, more experiential than compared to what I used to do, explaining how things work and explaining the concepts. So a little bit less of the explanation, but more of an experience for you to really tune in and to understand what quantum healing is through experience, because we can talk about it, forever, and you will still not be able to perceive unless you do experience that. So I will, however, share some of the slides to describe some concepts. So hopefully you can see my slides. Yes? Can everybody see that? Okay, good. All right. So shortly, what quantum healing is as a method, it's really a personal evolution method and technique, incorporating knowledge and understanding from behavior psychology, quantum physics, neuroscience, and spirituality. And I typically present this like merging science and spirituality to create deepest transformation. And a little bit about myself. Most of you know me, but those who don't, I've been on this self-discovery journey for quite a while. As long as I remember, I struggled through life a lot of looking for purpose, trying to understand myself. And at the beginning was like trying to fix myself because I thought something is wrong. I didn't fit in the environment and so on. And that was a deep experience that led me to explore what's possible for the human being to experience, really, and eventually lead by example. About 5 years ago, I met Dick Harbers, who is the founder of this method, and he became my mentor and taught me all the nuances and certified me to lead and teach others. And he passed away about 2 years into our connection. So that's 3 years ago. And since then, it became my mission to bring this modality to the world and share the knowledge and guide people through really deep internal experiences to get to know themselves, to understand who they really are and um, why they are facing certain challenges and how to overcome those challenges. Um, let's talk about very broad concept as how we approach the human operating system in our society. Usually, body is kind of presented for medical system to take care of your health, your physical activity, wellness, and typically doctors don't consider any other elements. They're just treating the body as the object, and that's it. If you have some mental issues, that's another department. Therapy, maybe some personal development tools, positive thinking, maybe law of attraction, manifestation, things like that. But very rarely these are connected in our society. Soul elements are like church thing, religion, or whatever, and they are not communicating with each other to see the holistic view from about what's going on in your system. And I think that's the major challenge in our society because we are very much disconnected from ourselves. We have been programmed to believe to certain things, to behave in certain way, and we're expected to become that member of society and follow the rules and disregard our own feelings very often. So what the human operating system in alignment is, it's when we incorporate all elements and when we learn to understand how your mind, body, and soul connects and interacts with each other, and how you can become aware of that interaction. And really, we very often don't need a medication to heal our body if we truly understand how body is signaling about some deeper issues that can be addressed very easily if you have the right tools to do so. Um, all right. As human beings, we experience the world through 5 senses. And this is super basic explanation of the, the elements that are incorporated in quantum healing process. And as we experience the world externally through 5 senses, we see things, we hear, we smell, taste, feel, with a touch. This is how we collect the information. Then the brain converts that information into some kind of meaning, filters through our beliefs, and kind of organize and structures our responses or behaviors to the environment. But usually we use the same 5 senses to experience our inner world as well, meaning that without any external input, we can still explore what's going on internally through the same 5 senses. And to explain this better, I will guide you through some very simple, basic, practical exercises. So the question is, how self-aware are you? So let me stop sharing, and I will invite you to relax and close your eyes and experience what I'm guiding you through. Allow your imagination to unfold. And I want you to just relax as you close your eyes and focus within. Notice the position of your body. Notice your breathing. Thank your breathing for helping you relax. And I want you to visualize a tree. Just visualize a tree, however that looks like. And I want you to notice how close that tree is to you, or how far away. I want you to notice the colors. Does it have leaves? Or maybe needles, maybe it's a pine tree. And everybody will have a different view of the tree. So there is no right or wrong. Just explore how you see that. Notice if it is colorful or the view is just black and white. Notice if the tree is realistic, as if you have seen it in the past, or maybe it's just a cartoony image. Notice if the tree is moving, or is it still? And notice if you can hear anything in the environment. If you're next to the tree, what can you hear? Can you hear the wind, leaves and branches making some sounds? Maybe some birds. Notice how close the sound is and how far away from you. Notice what emotion the sound triggers in your body. Notice if the sound makes you relax or does it create some tension. And imagine as if you're approaching the tree and touch it with your hand. Notice how the bark of the tree feels like. Notice if you can hug the tree. Is it big enough? Again, notice how your body feels when you touch the tree. And maybe you can stroke gently with your hand through the bark of the tree. And just feel your fingers, your palm. So just explore. This might bring up some emotions, some memories from your past. Might even bring some connection to people from your experiences. Just observe what comes up to your awareness in relation to this simple guidance. And just to explore the smell and taste, imagine that you hold a lemon in your hands. And just play with it. Roll it between your hands a little bit. Squeeze it gently. Rub it with your hands and try to smell. Can you feel the smell of lemon? And imagine as you can cut the lemon in half, and out of the sudden, you put it in your mouth and take a big bite. And just notice how it feels in your mouth. Very likely you will notice the saliva coming to your mouth. That sour taste. And the reality is that there is no lemon next to you right now, but you perceive the taste and smell of it internally. Your brain can create experience without the reality playing it out. So just notice and observe how your body feels, and when you're ready, just allow your eyes to gently open. And I did put all these exercises into one, but I would like to hear from you. No pressure, whoever is willing to share. How did you experience this exercise? First of all, how did your tree look like? And what came up when you tasted the lemon? Is anybody willing to share? Just unmute yourself and yeah, Lori, go ahead.
So I can share.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Kairun from South Africa. I found the tree like in front of me, not too close, maybe 2 meters away. So I walked to the tree. It had a very brown, hard trunk. And that tree was like a tree that I thought about when we were growing up. And interestingly, afterwards, when you said, so it was good to be with the tree, but when you said and mentioned, and that like made the penny drop for me when you said, can you see how we can create that feeling even though we were really not by the tree? And that was a beautiful moment of in like a light went on for me.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And this sharing is really not significant in any personal way. Everybody's tree will be different, but it's with the intention for all of you to see how different we perceive the same things. So, anybody else is willing to describe your tree?
Hi.
Hey, Mandela.
I really, really loved how fast I had a huge tree in front of me. It was like an oak with like old dying wood, and then there was all these puffs of leaves that showed up in life and like natural spurts of DMT so fast. And I saw colors like green and fall colors. And then when I went up, it was like, yeah, I can't even hug the tree. I am the tree. And then there was like a door, and I went in. And then my imagination starts to go away because it's so hard with trauma to have my imagination hold on for a long time. So I feel myself start to get stubborn in some of your meditations. And I really love that because it's the inner child coming out. And sometimes it's like, why a lemon? And those are the feelings. Why? And I do it anyway. I take the bite and it's so sour. I'm like, what the hell? But it's so funny how, like, I know that I'm recreating these emotions from old trauma, but I'm still needing to be reminded constantly. I will take the bite of the lemon out of my love when part of me was like, why am I even taking this bite just because she's telling me? So that's what came up for me. It's like,
Interesting.
I'm like, wow, this is genius. But at first I was like, why are we doing this?
Well, yeah, and different things come up, right? And that, like I said, is super basic and simple exercise, but it might bring some memories from the past or some experiences, some are even uncomfortable experiences, right? So that's why I choose a very simple example as a tree. Um, so yeah, thanks for sharing, Mandel. Laurie, would you like to jump on and speak?
Yeah, my tree was green. The trunk was green. The leaves were green, but like a darker green in the trunk. Um, and it was like pretty realistic, but it didn't seem like a real tree. It was like, yeah, it was very filled out, and I could feel the roughness of the bark and like all the lines and stuff, on it. And the lemon was very sour.
Yeah. Did that remind you of anything from your past?
No,
Did
not
that
really.
trigger? Oh, okay.
It actually didn't remind me of anything from my past for whatever reason.
Okay. That's all right. Just explore. Thank you. Um, anyone else? Jackie, Maggie, Jamie, anybody? Maggie, go ahead.
Yeah, the tree was a tree that I know very well and I love it. And it was so fun to have a time to just be with that tree. And I was about 20 feet from it, I think, when I first started, and then walking closer and closer, and just felt like, at least at the beginning, there was just such a me and the tree relationship. That was all it was. And then you brought up something about how do you feel, or what are your emotions, what emotions might be bringing up, might be coming up, because I was starting to hear background noise of traffic. And so then it became the layer of the emotions about what I felt about the traffic that interrupted this relationship between the tree and I. So it just felt like each time there was another layer that was added to something, all because of my thought process, not particularly anything else. It was just where it decided to take me. And then, of course, I've done the lemon experiment before, and so already anticipating, so my mouth was watering even before you got to that. So just noticing how the response is, so quick in the physiological part of the body. So yeah, just it's always fascinating to do that. It feels very hypnotic, but yet always so much awareness that comes in.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. And the reason we're doing this exercise really is to bring up or to increase your awareness of the details that comes up internally. And just the same way, like I said, tree, one word, every other word will have a certain image in your mind, certain feeling, probably connected sounds, taste, or smells. So every word, every experience, every memory has a combination of 5 elements or 5 senses. And when we address those things, we can shift your perception of that object or memory or person. There are so many, ways to go from this point. So this is why it is significant. And I will continue sharing how this goes into quantum healing and how this can be expanded into deeper awareness of your unique human experience. So I'll bring back slides. So this is just the feedback from one client saying that in 3 sessions I was able to shift something that 10 years of therapy couldn't. And the reason why quantum healing is so effective and fast is because we work on the system level. We don't sit and talk about stories that happened or any traumas or any beliefs that evolved through your lifetime, but we work on your human operating system. And this is just an image that I think represents the process in the most simple way again. We often walk around with our minds and the whole system so entangled and having conflicting beliefs, having suppressed resources, our thoughts, other people's thoughts that we accepted. If you're an empath, that is even worse. You're picking up on other people's emotions and energies and thoughts, and all that is affecting you. And it's really hard to know what is what and what's going on in your system if you really don't have that understanding how every thought triggers the physical response, and how to change those things. So quantum healing creates that alignment in your human operating system. It's basically the structure of 5 steps that I will describe later is organizing your system, really connecting the dots and rewiring your brain to function more effectively. So what are the 5 steps? And I will go a little bit into describing the process. I know it's important. It was important for me to understand how this works. So I'm kind of assuming that many of you will be curious to understand why it works or how it works. And later, I will guide you through a deeper experience of a few of the resources that I'm describing here. So the first step, we activate your internal resources in your system. And we start with 7 resources: the inner healer, self-nurturer, intuition, self-protector, trust, forgiver, and inner peace. I know this is a different concept than probably from anything you know, but everybody understands intuition to some extent, right? How do you know things without learning, right? I remember myself from my childhood, I was very intuitive and sensitive to energies, but because of the judgment in the environment, I really disconnected from my intuition. So going through life, through, school, university, I struggled a lot because even in the tests, I would kind of know the answer, but I didn't trust my knowing, so I chose the wrong answers all the time. Making decisions was difficult, choosing between things. It was a challenge. And only when I activated intuition with quantum healing, something shifted so much. It opened up new possibilities in business and new understanding, working with clients, intuitively feeling what the core issue is in a session. It required for me to trust my intuition. A lot of people are struggling with forgiving. That often evolves into physical conditions when people are holding the anger inside of them. And I know several cases with cancer patients working on forgiveness simply heal the cancer. Activating your inner healer, your ability to heal physically, emotionally, mentally. It's your natural state to access that healing. But very often in our society, people develop autoimmune diseases, different conditions. And usually all that is a result of unprocessed emotions or traumatic experiences. When we are judged by the environment and we are not able to process the uncomfortable emotions in the moment, they get stuck in our system and simply creates the knots, so the energy can no longer flow through your body fully. And that develops eventually into whether physical condition or cancer or whatever that would be. So all these 7 resources are significant. To start with, every human being needs them to basically survive. And that's why we begin and with these steps. And activating your resources is nothing that we infuse from anywhere external. I'm just gently guide you through the experience to become aware of that resource. Just like the image of a tree, you become aware of how this resource is represented internally for you, and we connect them together to support your system. So step 1. The second step is more science-based and technical. It's about the IMAP, and if you are familiar with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it describes the IMAP, meaning that the eye movement is connected to your brain, showing which part of the brain is being accessed to get to certain information. And just to play with this, I will invite you to remember something that happened yesterday, just whatever situation that you can remember. And pay attention to what your eyes are doing. Your eyes will likely focus in some point in space to remember what happened, right? So your IMAP is standard IMAP, has 6 sectors where you access your visual memories, the memory of sound, the feelings and sensations, your internal dialogue, and so on. And knowing the standard IMAP, I ask the specific questions to evaluate how your IMAP is organized. And then we compare with the normally organized IMAP. We discuss what this means if there are some distortions, because very often people's IMAPs are distorted. I will give an example. If somebody have experienced some trauma in the past, physical trauma, their brain will rewire itself to block that area that is responsible for storing the kinesthetic information, the physical, emotional information. And it's a protective mechanism for the brain so that you don't get into that post-traumatic response in the simple situations. But that in a way blocks people from connecting to their emotions, or kind of blocks even some memories of the experiences. So the intention is to bring the resources and heal those blockages, and to allow your brain function to become more effective, more efficient, easier to remember, easier to imagine the future possibilities, and so on. So this is a technical step, but it's very powerful if you understand how it impacts your brain function. Step 3 is about timelines. And again, I do the eye movement exercise, observing where would your eyes focus in different points in time, creating certain map of your timelines, the past or the future. That allows us to understand how your brain codes the memories. And sometimes it shows that you hold a lot of memories in your body still, meaning that that energy is stuck in your body. So we restructure the timelines and release all that is stuck in your system, in your personal space. Because if you are often overthinking, overanalyzing, it shows that you are not fully present, but you're focused on the past or the future. And the brain is overworking itself, so to speak, recreating different stories, different scenarios that are not real, that eventually can be anchored as true memories. And that creates confusion for people. And that's why we get stressed and sometimes stuck in decision-making process or the purpose of life or whatever that would be. Step 4 is all about energy centers. So we go through each chakra. If you're familiar with that word, chakras, energy centers, you become aware of the blockages, if there are any, or we simply create the flow of energy through your system, bringing again the resources and connecting the whole structure with the timelines so that your human operating system is set up for the final experience or final step of this sequence is really to connect to your divine self, to the source energy. And like I showed at the beginning, mind, body, soul connection, all the 4 steps before this, they were necessary to guide you to that deeper spiritual experience. And I don't talk much about this because it cannot be described. It's something that you have to experience, and it's really beautiful. If you're familiar with near-death experiences, the way people describe, this can be achieved without any risk of dying. So yeah, this is how the structure looks like, and I will guide you through. All right. How do I do this? It's just the description how things work, and I think I will guide you through the resources, the 3 first resources for you to really understand what's going on with this process. So it will work like this. You have experienced the 3 exercise based on the same elements. We are looking for that internal expression, whether visual, kinesthetic, feeling, sensations, any sound, taste or smell. I will invite your being to bring to your awareness each resource, and you will notice something internally. Just pay attention what comes up to surface without any judgment. There is no right or wrong. Your experience is unique and it's always the way it should be. So just notice what comes up. Then I will invite you to thank that resource for coming to your awareness. Simple gratitude creates the energy shift and movement. So you will notice what changed in that expression. I'll give some examples. Let's say the resource came to your awareness as the image of a waterfall, or the feeling in your chest, like maybe pressure in your chest. or maybe some sound, a word that came to your mind, maybe some smell or taste. There's no right or wrong. It can be one of those, it can be a combination of those senses. When you thank, it's something usually changes. Let's say the waterfall started flowing more intensely. Maybe the sound disappeared or increased. Maybe the feeling in your chest moved to another area of your body or disappeared as well. So something usually changes. And if you notice the change, you can continue thanking that expression until it settles. And this way, we kind of initiate that resource to work for you and to be acknowledged in your system. So I hope that makes sense. And then since we're doing 3 resources, I will invite the connection between resources to happen as well. That will be an extra step. If you want to make notes for yourself, you can do that simply of your own experience, how you noticed your inner healer or other resources. Sometimes it's good to reflect back and what that means to you. I will also invite you to share how you experienced, again, with the same intention to just for others to reflect how different we perceive that. And sometimes it's just nice to express yourself to make it more real, right? Do you guys have any questions so far? No? All good?
How is quantum healing different from light language?
Very different. I mean, it's a method. Light language is just channeling experience. And I will leave some time for questions after this, if that's okay, Laurie. All right, we can discuss that for sure. All right, so right now I just want to guide you all through the experience. So get comfortable and close your eyes and relax. Just tune into your body. Notice your breathing. Notice your chest going up and down gently. And thank your breathing for helping you relax. And just notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy, which is a focus of energy of your inner healer. Notice how your inner healer resource comes to your awareness. Part of you that's responsible for your physical, emotional, mental healing. Just notice what comes up to your awareness. Maybe it is a visual, physical sensation, sound, a taste, a smell, wherever you notice. And then thank your inner healer for coming to your awareness in that particular way. And notice how it responds to your gratitude and appreciation. Notice what happens after you thank it. That's right. That's right. And when you notice the resource, you thank it, and then you notice the response. You can then allow your eyes to open and share your experience. And take as long as you need to be in that space. Take as long as you need. That's right. That's right. Very well. And those of you who are still processing, continue to do as long as you need. And if you're ready, I'd like to invite you to share again. How did your inner healer come to your awareness? Denise, would you like to unmute yourself and to share a few words?
My inner healer was a soft blue mist, and when I thanked it, it enveloped me even more. I've been, because I suffer with chronic pain, I've been doing a lot of work on healing my body without taking medication, and that was it came up as a loving, comforting blue, like a pale blue mist. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. How about anybody else? Come on, guys. Jackie? I saw you reached the mute button.
Yeah, it was. It was a kind of like a yellow orange, very much like sunshine. Although I felt my body shiver, I was starting to get cold. It was just kind of an interesting sensation. And then when I thanked it, it was kind of the same feeling of where it kind of hugged me into it. And I was in the midst of that color and feeling. So that's kind of what was going on for me.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And again, this is very conceptual and unique experience. Jamie, would you like to share? You wouldn't? Okay. No pressure. That's fine. I just want to make sure that you are experiencing something. Lori, what came up for you?
Yeah, I was a little bit distracted there, but it was just like a red radiance. And then I was just thinking about having a spicy hummus dip and crackers
Okay.
because it's my lunchtime.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, so it's different how it comes up, right? How about my people who have experienced? Nancy, Maggie? Was it different to anything?
Sure. Well, yeah, it was a little bit different. And it started out, I was in different places with energy. And my thank you took me trying to think of the colors that were there were blues and like some sharper blues, more cerulean type when I first started. And then when I said thank you, I was just floating. I was in water. And so water is a big resource for me. So I was floating. It was more bluish greens and some very large smooth rocks. And that was it. I mean, I just was surrounded by that and floating in it. And that's always that's a good place to be.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Nancy.
Yes, thank you.
Maggie, I think you wanted to share something. Let me help you.
There we go.
You did it.
I was quite surprised. I was noticing immediately it came like a ball of pressure in my throat, like under my right side of my tongue. And I kept I went into a mental thing, I think, and thanked it, thinking that I could possibly relieve the pressure or it would dissolve. And it just seemed to press more. And it was almost like, this is let go, let go. This is what it feels like. This is okay. Just more of a resolve into me doubting or me wanting it to look like or feel like something. So it was Yeah, I was noticing the battle that was going on a bit about, trying to thank it and make it do something softer or different. But it was very, I mean, it wasn't harmful or hurtful or anything of that sort. It was just the noticing of that pressure and more the kinesthetic sense of it. It's very different.
It's different, but that's the beauty of this process, that everybody experiences it differently, right? And like I said, it's so unique for everyone. And I had people who experience smell of ketchup, and it doesn't make any sense, and that's okay too. And sometimes the resources show up like in very meaningful way that eventually people kind of understand the story of it. It's like they bring the message. So again, unique. But thanks for sharing, Maggie.
Mhm.
And I will move to the next resource, your self-nurture, and let's see how you experience that. There will be a step of connection after the nurture comes in. Nice, thank you, Jamie, for sharing that. Sometimes in the group, it's a phenomenon that people have similar experiences, whether the same color comes up or a similar feeling comes up. There's some correlation. So it's another element of working in a group, because you are all in the same kind of room of energy, so to speak. So indirectly we impact each other. But nevertheless, that's the unique experience for each of you. All right, so close your eyes once again when you're ready, and let's explore. First of all, thank your inner healer for coming to your awareness, and thank it for responding to your gratitude the way it did. And now just notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy, which is a focus of energy of your self-nurturer. Notice how your self-nurturer comes to your awareness. The part that loves you and nurtures you fully. Notice whether it is an image, physical sensation, sound, or taste, or smell. And whatever you notice, just thank your self-nurturer for coming to your awareness in that unique way. Thank it for being there for you all through your life. And notice how it responds to your gratitude and appreciation. That's right. That's right. And when you notice the resource, and thank it and notice the response, I will invite your being to make all the arrangements necessary for your self-nurture to somehow connect to your inner healer. Notice how your self-nurture is receiving the necessary healing and feels more whole, healed, and complete. And notice how your inner healer is receiving love and nurture and feels more loved, nurtured, cherished, validated, and acknowledged. So just notice how these two resources are connecting to each other, sending energy to each other, and receiving energy from each other, to whatever degree they are willing and able to do that at this stage, but connecting deeper and deeper over time. That's right. That's right. And so when you're ready, only when you're fully ready and sure that your being has made all the arrangements necessary for this integration to continue, you can then allow your eyes to open and return to the room. Take as long as you need to process it. Take as long as you need. That's right. That's right. Very well. So again, I want to invite a couple of you to share how you experience that. If you're willing, just unmute and tell us the story. What happened? Melissa said that, okay, let me read this. The self-nurturer said, you are a lot of work and it smells like bread toast. Yep, sometimes the resources have a sense of humor. Yeah. Denise, would you like to share?
That was hard. To self-nurture, I had a very strong image of doors, closed doors, no walls, just random doors. And when I thanked it for giving me that image, for sharing that image with me, the doors started to open. Oh God, that was really hard. And then when you said to combine the two elements, the blue mist started to come through the doors, and the doors started to, they were still there, but they was more translucent. They wasn't so solid and, you know, stark. That was very hard. So, you know, self-nurturing is probably something that I need to address more. So that's the feeling I got. I don't do enough self-nurturing.
Thanks for sharing that. And if you follow the metaphor, like closed doors, yeah, there is no connection to that nurturing element, right? But as you thank, the doors opened up. So what we are doing here, we are initiating that resource to become more active. With gratitude, with connecting with the healer, that self-nurturer will become more active in your life, and potentially, I don't know how that plays out in your experience, but maybe you feel more called to do things that are nurturing and loving to yourself. Maybe you hold better boundaries and stop giving away of your energy, you know, for others, or spend time, you know, to balance yourself somehow. So just pay attention over time how things are improving, because we just initiated the process and it continues to evolve. All right. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share?
Yeah. My self-nurture was like a yellow statue, like kind of curled up, almost like in a fetal position, like of a man, like, or something vaguely human shaped. And it was yellow, and the healing, the self-healer was red, and it just kind of enveloped the yellow man in like a red mist. And it just seemed like there was like no resistance there.
Good. No resistance is good. Yeah, but you notice the connection happening, right? It's symbolic again, but yeah. All right. Jackie, do you feel like sharing?
Oh, I guess it came through as a green, but then it turned into, and I don't know, I was talking with a client about their trip to Ireland. So I ended up in this like really deep green grass sort of landscape that was reminiscent of that. And I just, when I made that connection with the healer part. It was kind of like the sun and then the grass, that I'm in the grass. It was very calming. Just kind of laying there, soaking it all in. So yeah, that's what I had going on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so let's see. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm jumping into because mine has an Irish component, but that is funny, Jack, that you were talking about that. And so when it started out, I was just in a kind of a column of pink, and so that was good. And it was in a, I don't know, sort of a outdoor. I don't even know, the structure had columns, but it was open to the outside. Anyway, so here's this pink. And then when I thanked it, and I was in the pink, I mean, it was like surrounded by this pink. And then when I thanked it, what happened was a pattern of, like, the Celtic knot. If people have seen that, well, it's kind of a pattern of being enwrapped in those strips of the knot. It was very interesting, and it was like a sculpture, not like weird binding, but sort of blanketed in a wonderful way. And that was really an interesting thing, and it became very defined, and it was like the two resources were very bound together. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, because what hopped out was that it's like, oh, it's like a Celtic knot pattern. Anyway, that's it. Just had to say, it is interesting when you connect and people have similar experiences. And you were talking about that, Agni, or similar references. Is very true. So, okay, pass.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Kevin, do you feel like jumping on? I just put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so for me, it was more of a sensation than anything. Like I could see like a yellow whitish color, but it just felt like it was like a glow over me. Like I could feel it, even though it was a color, like I could feel it in a sense, just over top of me. That's just kind of what I got from it.
Okay, cool. Thanks. All right. Should we move on to intuition? And this is where it gets fun. So, an extra step. When you're ready, close your eyes and relax. Just tune into your body. Thank your inner healer and self-nurture for connecting. And then notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy, which is a focus of energy of your intuition. The knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of your being that knows everything there is to know and understands everything there is to be understood. Just notice how your intuition comes to your awareness, whether it is an image, physical sensation, sound, taste, or smell. That's right. That's right. When you notice your intuition, thank it for coming to your awareness in that unique way. Notice how it responds to your gratitude and appreciation. And when you notice the response and when you're ready, I will invite your being to make all the arrangements necessary for your intuition to connect to your inner healer and self-nurturer. Notice how your intuition is receiving the healing and feels more whole, healed, and complete. Notice how it receives love and nurture and feels more loved, nurtured, cherished, validated, unacknowledged. Maybe your intuition has never been acknowledged in the past. So just notice how that happens. And in return, notice how your intuition sends its own energy to your inner healer and self-nurturer. So they will know better and better how to heal you and how to nurture you, as they have full access to the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of your being. That's right. That's right. And so just notice how the resources are sending energy to each other and receiving energy from each other, sending information to each other and receiving information from each other, healing each other, nurturing each other, and providing knowledge, understanding, and wisdom to one another. That's right. That's right. And so just notice how your being is making all the arrangements necessary for the integration to continue to continue. And when you're ready, only when you're fully ready, you can allow your eyes to open and share your experience if you wish. Take as long as you need. Take as long as you need. That's right. That's right. Very well. So, back to sharing. Jackie, are you willing?
This one was interesting. I was kind of all over the place. When it first came up, it was sort of white. It felt like walking in snow where it has that quiet feel, or sound, I should say. And then I was in front of a fireplace, like when you're talking about the nurturing part. And then kind of when they were passing information, it just kind of felt like a swirl of colors kind of shooting like lightsabers. It's the only way I could describe it. Just shooting light back and forth between each other. So those three colors, the white, like the yellow, and then the green. So yeah.
Awesome. A lot of action. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Denise? All right.
Yeah, mine was kind of a blue and a green. And it was kind of like, I want to say it wasn't really like a cage, but kind of like not really like a grid, but it was like it like had like holes in it. Like, so it was like kind of like a netting almost, but like it was bigger than that. And, so I could see like the red and yellow from the inner nurture and the inner healer kind of flowing outward into the intuition, but the intuition, it seemed a little more blocked in terms of the flowing inward. Like it could do it, but it was like more of I don't think there was as much connection there.
Okay. So also have in mind that, like I said before, we are just initiating the process and it will continue to evolve. That's why I kind of wrap this up with invite your being to continue, right? This is like the magical language pattern that creates that continuation of the integration process. So even if you notice that there was some blockage there, after a while, you might come back to the recording will be available if you want to watch and go back to the same experience. You might notice something different already. So that could be a way to test it out. Yeah. Denise, did you want to share?
It wasn't an image as such this time. It was a feeling of warmth and expansion in my heart area, my chest area. And when the other elements were invited in to join with that the pressure and the warmth expanded more. It was definitely not so much visual, but more of a sensation, a feeling sensation.
All right, interesting. Wolf is, you can probably explore what that means symbolically, like you know how they talk about spirit animals or something, or when they explain the dreams, typically there is a meaning in all those symbols. So that could be a place to explore.
I was going to say something. I couldn't
Okay.
figure out how to get on.
You see?
Being able to go through these processes with the same best friends, inner resources inside, utilizing it over and over and over lately has been like my favorite game with life. I'm like, thank God it gives me more inspiration to keep going. Like I'm like, oh yeah, inner healer. I need to. So when we went into the visual, I had also I couldn't figure out buttons and I was doing some stuff. But when I went in, it was also Ireland that came up big time for me. I'm feeling a lot of collective, big time. And then with this process, I felt the trees right outside my little like student housing area that's here. Every single tree anchored in that energy. So this continue process for me specifically has taken me out of certain like there's just all sorts of different, dimensional groundings that have come in instead of being so 3D and so depressed, which was, whew, I was reaching a point of low. But today, this is probably, like 20th to 50th time that I've taken myself through my inner resource process, which is great. We can do this with or without a guide. But the guide is kind of like where, it's not heard through a door and muffled anymore. Now it's like very confident. So today I get the trees communicating that they're anchoring in this energy around. And it was just so certain and confident. And I was able to keep that visual of all of them anchoring, every single one that was outside my house, and it didn't go anywhere. It was very, very real, just the way that like 3D feels real. And it was beautiful to go into that process and be in such a large capacity container that I felt the visuals at the same time of the trees outside my house speaking to me and willing to anchor this in. Like it seems like the whole collective is really in this one more than ever. I feel that I'm feeling a little like, whoo, because it's not just about me anymore. I was able to play with these so much that today I'm feeling like, ooh, this is like, I'm trying to keep it about me, but it seems very natural. Like everybody in here is, anyways.
Anchoring the energy. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. All right. I still want to wrap the process up. So one more time, close your eyes when you're ready. And just focus within. Again, notice the body. Notice your breathing. And let's invite your being to bring the resources and scan through your physical body and your personal space. Notice how your inner healer, self-nurture, and intuition is gently scanning through from head to toes, looking for any areas in your body that needs healing, nurturing, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Notice how your resources are scanning through all the organs, your tissues, and every single cell of your body. Dissolving any unuseful energies, any blockages, and integrating what's necessary. in complete alignment with your being. Notice how your resources are updating your mind, your thinking patterns, your beliefs, your internal dialogue. Notice how they're updating your emotional body, dissolving some uncomfortable emotions and allowing the flow through your system. Notice how these resources are going through your chakra system, activating the energy flow. And just notice how your being is making all the arrangements necessary for this integration process to continue more deeply and thoroughly while you're sleeping and dreaming, and gently in the background as you go about your normal daily experience, to the best comfort of your physical body, your mind, your emotions. More noticeable for your conscious mind, how you begin to think differently, feel differently, see and hear things differently. Notice how you can easily connect to your resources, as if you would talk to your friend, invite them to heal you, to nurture you, wherever you need that. Some days we might need to rely on our intuition more, making certain decisions in life or business. So just call upon your intuition, invite it to come to your awareness, thank it, and simply communicate. And sometimes this feels too simple, yet it is powerful. So just allow your being to make all the arrangements necessary for the integration process to continue. And when you're ready, only when you're fully ready, you can allow your eyes to open and feel fully relaxed, refreshed, and calm. And take as long as you need. Take as long as you need. That's right. That's right. Very well. Very well. That's right. That's right. All right. So I see some of you are back to the room. If you feel like sharing the experience, you're welcome. Or ask any questions in relation to this process. I see Denise, something's coming up. Was it an intense process for you? Are you willing to share?
I just feel overwhelmed and very emotional, and there's obviously a lot I need to release. And yeah, I just need to do this process more often. Very, very overwhelmed.
I understand, yeah, that can. We do really deep work here, as simple as it sounds, but it is a deep experience. So take your time to process, integrate, however you do that. Drink water, rest, take walks, whatever helps to reflect. It's possible that some things come to surface, like you say, emotions, whatever it relates to. But yeah, there are tools like I shared. Like if you need any support, we can work and explore what's coming up. But this is just an initiation, and your system knows exactly what needs to happen. Your being is in control, in charge of what's going on. So just allow this to unfold. Yeah. Laurie, are you trying to press the unmute button?
Yeah, it was like a continuation of that, like integration between the intuition and the inner healer and the inner nurturer. So it was like um just feeling into that, I guess. And just like feeling like where I was uncomfortable. And then like just the realization of, because I've done a lot of, healing work on my nervous system and all of that stuff, and like kind of realizing like where I'm still stuck. Like so that whole part with that, and it's like, yeah, kind of, I guess something to work on in terms of
The healing.
yeah, in terms of what I need to work on, but
Yeah.
that's basically it.
Can I tell you the secret?
Yeah.
It's endless work. It never ends. You keep healing, there's stuff to come to surface anyway. It's a journey, and when you embrace that journey, it becomes kind of natural. As long as you have, effective tools to address whatever comes up. I mean, that's why we're here. Yeah. Well, thanks, Laurie. All right, let me complete my sharing the slides. I know everybody's like in a bit floaty state, but I will just there's not so much information here. I just want to share what's next if you are interested to explore more. Like I described the 5 steps, quantum alignment program is exactly that. We go through these sessions and activating the resources, the complete set, the eye mapping system, the timelines, the chakra system, the journey. All those sessions are there to guide you through that deep experience, to reset your human operating system, how I say. So that alone is really powerful and, eye-opening, I would say. Increasing your self-awareness and healing at multiple levels. And this is the code that you can scan to access the website to check that program, or you can just simply book a free call with me, conversation through QHeal.life/contact. And yeah, if you have questions, if you have any, contemplations, if you want to share anything, book a call, let's talk. I like to have this open conversation with people and explore. Sometimes it's just to really uncover where you're stuck, and that's okay too. So I will send you the emails because all of you are registered here. I will send you emails with the details, so that will be available. The recording as well. When it's done uploading, I'll send it out. And for now, if you have any questions, I would like to answer if I can. Anything about the process? Anything you want to share? What's your takeaway, maybe? How was this experience? Was it something similar to what you expected from quantum healing? Yes, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put in a thumbs up for what you had just talked about and that experience. I mapping was really informational and helpful for me. That was amazing, as well as all the rest of the content is just great. But there's some pieces that get into how we operate, how I personally operate, and take that into the world or ignore it, right? And um, things that I'm missing out on. So I just wholeheartedly encourage, support, and recommend it.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions? Lori, you want to talk about light language?
Yeah, I guess I just, I experienced so many different modalities and they all work like slightly differently, like different meditations, different, I've done tapping, I've done like light language, which is a little bit different, the channeling. So like, I really like to experience different things because I think it and affirmations, they all work on different levels, I've noticed. And they work better for different issues as well. So
if you want me to reflect on different modalities,
yeah,
I've,
like
I've I've done a lot of exploration myself, of course, on this long journey. The what I noticed, for example, any energy healing modalities like Reiki, channeling, thing like activations, right? Often they work on your energy field, but because those energetic blocks are created by your mental and emotional issues, the trauma that has not been resolved, you can shift the energy for that time, but your mind, your thinking and feeling patterns will recreate the same blocks. Is that making sense? So there is that problem that I notice in other things.
for me, when I've had energy healing, whatever particular block it was working on, it doesn't necessarily get rid of everything in one go. But like whatever block was there, I feel like it's permanently dissolved and hasn't come back. So that's just my experience. So
Sure, different experiences, different processes that we go through. Yeah, quantum healing is unique in the way that is incorporating all levels, and we are working on the system, not on the specific topic usually. Yes, we can address specific issue if necessary, but this sequence of sessions like activate certain things in your system is nothing that I beam at you generally. Energy is just the language patterns are activating your experience. So that's the major difference, I would say.
Can I say something to support?
Yes, please.
It's been coming through like a fire in my belly, and then it comes through my fingers. And that's when I know I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be saying this. Try to push it away, for a little bit, but so as soon as you asked about the light language, there was a lot of intuitive stuff coming forward, and it made me go, so this might be really accurate, it might not, never know, right? But it's coming through the Babylonian times, right? We create the spiral ritual. So intentions. So what you're helping to guide, I constantly see the ripples of how much it can help collectively and how much it is, because we do continue this process. It's like personally we have some injury, then we help to bring the resources there. And then, of course, we want to focus on the collective more because we feel a little better. And then, of course, that collective work brings us back to more personal work. So it's this constant climbing and being able to be active when you dive into some of the pain. That's huge. That's a miracle. That's the lottery to me. I'm like, what? We can do something? We can do something. But light language, as far as I understand, is something that is communicating light hitting quantum fibers. So it is connected. So I heard her, I felt her intuition big time when she said it. And I was like, whoa. And then it kind of opened up a container while we were doing a process, explaining to me that the light language is always going to change, right? Over time, because as we're communicating new intentions, more filled with light, in this area where things were already created in the ether, the spiritual ether. So many beliefs. I see you guiding us into the quantum room where it's like the apothecary. It's the place with all the herbs and it's the pantry. It's where you can go up and grab what you need. And it's intuitive and it's always connected to Earth's energy because you as a guide are very integrity connected, you know. But it's the light language that is communicating the quantum, if that makes sense. It's odd how the light language can obviously change as we're feeling a certain color or a certain whatever the light from the sun is reflecting onto in fibers. That's what light language is. We're communicating the sun hitting intention. So as we go through these processes and create new intention, we're creating new sparkly fibers kind of where the sun can hit that instead of all these old beliefs that it's kind of like, do you resonate? Because I don't resonate. Like, so then we have an opportunity to, yes, speak light language. It is connected to the quantum. However, sometimes our light language is from the sun hitting old beliefs. So let's make some new beliefs and then hit some light language again. It's kind of like it fired up in me, and I was like, wow, this is because it's always connecting the dots on new, you know, which my intention is collective all the time. I can't stop. But how do you do all the collective work without learning these inner resources? It's the biggest and smallest at the same time. If you're missing one, there's a disconnect, you know. So, and we're all still working on that. The whole atmosphere is.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you and how profound this is and how much we are. As soon as we're brought through one of these visuals, our energy field has now changed a little, and our energy field is connected with Earth's energy field. So whatever's in between that is this is going to make a huge difference. It's just about how many people can be reached. And that's my belief. And I think about it all day, every day. I'm like, come on, everybody needs some quantum, like, processing. I need reminders constantly. Like,
Yeah,
thank
it's a work that you can continue doing. Like Nancy, Maggie, right? You have gone through the process, Kevin, too. If you master that process for yourself and you apply that daily, it continues to like you basically self-heal through all the situations in life, right? So it's a toolkit. That's what I would say. That allows you to continuously explore your experience and heal through the journey. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody's interested, I have like that link will lead you to the group program or individual program. However you choose, I decided to offer the same process in individually too. The group starts on the 26th, I think, in exactly 2 weeks. Yeah, 26th. So if that calls you, you are welcome to join the group. Or if you prefer working individually, that's available too. And only this month I have a extra offer for that, like 30% discount. So if that's, like I say, if that's calling you, join me, reach out, connect, let's talk about it. And I hope to see you in other workshops. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Agnes. Thanks, everyone. Good stuff.
Thanks. Bye.
you.